Welcome to part 3 and the final part of the crimes of Russell Williams. Please take care when listening. Inside the small, sterile interview room, the atmosphere completely shifted. Detective Sergeant Jim Smith maintained a calm, methodical demeanor, but the evidence he laid out was devastating. For hours, Williams attempted to maintain his composure, offering calculated explanations. But when Smith presented the undeniable proof, the exact match of his tire tracks and the boot prints left at the crime scenes, the commander knew the narrative was entirely out of his control. In a quiet, almost robotic voice, Williams asked a chilling question. What happens next? What happened next was a full confession that unraveled a terrifying double life, revealing that the monster Eastern Ontario had been hunting was the very man commanding its largest military base. While the headlines focused heavily on the shock of Williams' rank, the true heart of this tragedy lies with the victims, whose lives were stolen or forever altered by his calculated depravity. Marie-France Camus, 37 years old, a vibrant and dedicated corporal in the Canadian Armed Forces. She served as a military flight attendant at CFB Trenton, working on the same base Williams commanded. In November 2009, she was murdered in her Brighton home. She was a deeply respected colleague and a loving daughter and friend, whose bright future was cut short by a predator utilizing his position of power. Jessica Lloyd, 27 years old, a young woman known for her infectious laugh, her love of horses, and her deep devotion to her family and friends. Her sudden disappearance in January 2010 mobilized an entire community. Through Williams' confession, investigators were led to her body, ending an agonizing search, but starting a lifetime of grief for those who loved her. Before his crimes escalated to murder, Williams targeted women in the community of Tweed, Ontario. 2 separate victims endured horrific home invasion sexual assaults. Their bravery in coming forward and providing vital details to investigators ultimately helped stitch together the behavioral profile that led to his capture. Following his confession, police executed search warrants at Williams' residence in Tweed and Ottawa. What they discovered shook even the most veteran investigators to their core. Hidden away in secret compartments was a massive, meticulously organized archive of his crimes. Williams had kept thousands of items of women's and children's undergarments, stolen during hundreds of break-ins, stretching back years. More disturbing still was his documentation. He had taken hundreds of photographs and videos, cataloging his crimes and his victims with a clinical, detached precision. The respected base commander had been living a parallel existence as a serial predator operating completely under the radar. In October 2010, the legal proceedings came to a swift end. Russell Williams pleaded guilty to all charges: 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of sexual assault, 2 counts of forcible confinement, and 82 counts of break and enter. He was sentenced to 2 concurrent life sentences, with no possibility of parole for 25 years. The Canadian military moved swiftly to sever all ties. In an unprecedented move, Williams was stripped of his rank, his medals were revoked, and he was dishonorably discharged. The military even took the symbolic step of burning his uniforms and crushing his service vehicle. Ultimately, the story of Russell Williams is not a story about a brilliant mastermind, but rather a cautionary tale of a predator who hid behind a uniform of trust. While his name remains tied to one of Canada's darkest criminal chapters, the true legacy of this case belongs to the resilience of the survivors, the dedication of the investigators, and the enduring memory of Marie-France Camus and Jessica Lloyd. My name is Jackson, and you're watching Northern Horrors.